Hello viewers, myself Dr. Anisa Sheikh. I have already uploaded one video on Hiba. So that was part 1. Link for Hiba part 1 I have already uploaded and it is provided in the description box. Today in this video I will be talking about second part of Hiba, that is doctrine of Musha and other kinds of Hiba, then formalities of Hiba and revocation of Hiba. So let's start the second part of Hiba. The brief of part 1 was about definition of Hiba, then essentials of Hiba. So Hiba is a transfer of a property made by donor to donee without any consideration and without any condition. So donor and donee are the parties and the property is the subject matter, and the property has to be transferred to the donee. So in the part 1 of Hiba, I have already discussed in detail about the competency and essentials of Hiba. So let's start with the second part of the video, which is related to Hiba. So first slide is talking about doctrine of Musha. So Musha is the doctrine which is relating to Hiba, where property is joint property, undivided property. So if a property is owned by two persons, a house possessed by two persons, or where a donor want to transfer property to two donees. So doctrine of Musha is applicable when the property is a joint property. Like for example, there is a house and house is in the ownership of two persons, A and B. Now there are two owners, so A want to transfer his share to C person, that is donee. So can it be possible that without dividing the share, without making partition of the property, whether it is possible to transfer? So Doctrine of Musha said that when the property is undivided, in that case Doctrine of Musha will help the person to transfer or to make it valid, to make it effective. So when the mixing of a proprietary rights, that means when the property is joint, when the rights are possessed with more than one person, or it is co-owned property, in that case Doctrine of Musha says that if the property is capable of division, then it is good that property should be partitioned, and then only it is to be pass on to the donee. So Doctrine of Musha is applicable to properties which is capable of division and which is incapable of division. So Doctrine of Musha says that if the property is capable of division, it is better to divide the property, to separate the property, and then to pass on to donee. So unless and until we are dividing the property, we cannot transfer. So Doctrine of Musha said that it is the gift of a property is not valid unless and until the specific share is divided from the rest of the property, and then the divided share should be passed to the donee. But in some properties certain rights cannot be divided. For example, there is a house and the donor want to transfer the house to B, donee. So he makes Hiba of the house to B, but that house is actually adjacent to the next owner. Now there are two owners and one staircase, so that staircase cannot be divided into two, so that staircase will be joint. So Doctrine of Musha says that when the right is undivided in nature, it is incapable of in nature, then still it is valid because gift is made, and with that gift the joint right is transferred because it is incapable in nature. So gift of undivided share in the property which is not capable of division, still it is valid. So Doctrine of Musha will help to resolve to resolve the dispute when it is capable of division and when it is incapable of division. This doctrine is not applicable to certain properties. For example, gift made by one brother to another brother. So when the property is transferred from the father and one property is possessed by two brothers, So in that case, it is fixed that each brother will take half property. So gift made by one heir to another. So doctrine of Musha is not applicable to such cases. Gift of a share which is in the zamindari land or a share in the large commercial town. So to these shares, to these lands, doctrine of Musha is not applicable. So this was all about doctrine of Musha. The next part, a very important part of this video, was on kinds of hiba. So there are 4 kinds of hiba, and they are different from general hiba, because hiba is that which is made without any exchange and without any consideration. But these are some kinds of hiba which are different, are in different nature. The first one is hiba bil iwas. The second kind is hiba ba shartul iwas. Third is sadka, and fourth is ariyat. So these are 4 prominent kinds of hiba available under the topic of hiba. The first one is hiba bil iwas. Now this hiba bil iwas consists of 3 words: hiba, bil and iwas. Hiba means gift, bil means with, and iwas means consideration. So gift made with consideration. Generally it is not possible that gift is made with consideration, because its definition says that it is a transfer of property made without any consideration. But this is a different kind of hiba, different type of mode of hiba provided under Muslim law. Now this hiba bil iwas consists of 2 transactions. One is gift made by donor to donee, that means hiba, donor gifting property to donee, that is one transaction, and that is called as hiba. Donee gives something in return to donor because he has accepted gift from donor. So when donee is giving something to donor, it is like consideration made voluntarily, that is iwas. So there are 2 gifts. One is main gift given by donor to donee, and the other gift which is voluntarily given by donee to donor. So second gift is considered as iwas for the first gift. For example, donor gives car to the donee, and donee is very happy, so donee gives certain books to donor. So these are 2 separate transactions. One is the subject given by donor to donee, and the other is given by donee, the second transaction. So hiba plus iwas makes hiba bil iwas. Actually this is not practiced in India. It is practiced in some other way. For example, donor transfers car to donee, and donee gives payment to donor. It is like sale. We say it is sale. So that is why this hiba bil iwas is actually not practiced in India. The second type, hiba ba shartul iwas. In the title itself, it says that it is hiba with shart. Shartul means condition, and iwas is consideration. So hiba is made, gift is made on condition, on shart, that there should be iwas, there should be consideration. So shart is made, condition is made by donor. Condition is made by donor, and donee has to comply with the condition. So donor says that he is giving car to donee, but on the condition that donee should give books to donor. So donor is keeping condition that he will make gift, but in return he want those specific books to him. So gift is made, but with the condition, with the stipulation. So donee has to comply. If donee is not fulfilling that condition, of course the gift, the main gift, the main hiba will not be valid, it will not be executed. So consideration is the condition and it is put by donor. So it is gift made with the condition, with the consideration, and the condition must be complied by the donor. If donee is not giving the consideration, then of course the first gift which is created by donor will not be valid. So that was all about hibaba shartul iwaz. The third kind in hiba is sadqa. Sadqa means giving gift to the poor person but with the religious motive. That means charity. So donor is giving something in the name of God. Maybe he is giving some fruits or money. So when he is donating money, in that case, the poor who is accepting, he may use or it may be used by some other person. So sadqa means property is transferred with the intention to get spiritual, religious benefit. So donor is transferring to donee. Donee may accept, may not accept. It is not necessary, but there should be transfer of property. Once the property is transferred, it cannot be cancelled because the property is donated in the name of God. So sadqa is a gift. Sadqa is a transfer of a property made to poor person in order to get spiritual merit, spiritual benefit. So here transfer of property is very essential and it cannot be cancelled. The last one is ariyat. Now property may be movable or immovable property, or property can be corpus property or it can be usufruct property. Donor want to transfer property, of course he can create hiba. But if he is not interested to transfer the property but just the enjoyment of that property he want to transfer for the specific period, that is also allowed under Muslim law. So if a donor want to transfer a tree is a corpus, is a property, so hiba can be created on the property. But if donor want to transfer only fruits of that tree, not actual tree, so fruit of that tree will be the usufruct. So hiba can be created on the actual property as well as it can be created on the fruit, the benefit of the property. For example, building and income coming out of that building. So if donor says, I am transferring the income of a particular building for 10 years to donee. So this is valid, where the donor is giving license to donee to use the income for 10 years. So he is not transferring the building, he is not transferring the tree, but he is transferring the possession or income or a fruit of that building for a specific period. So that is also allowed under Muslim law. So these were 4 kinds of hiba under Muslim law which are different from actual hiba. When hiba is created, it can be created orally or it can be created in writing. So writing is not essential. Orally it is allowed as well as writing is also allowed. So there is no restriction that it should be registered or it should be attested. There is no formality. Specific formality is not mentioned under Muslim law. That is why Section 123 of Transfer of Property Act, which is talking about registration, attestation and writing, is not applicable to hiba for Muslim law. Now once hiba is created, it can be revoked, but there are certain conditions. For example, before transferring the property, donor can cancel hiba. So before delivering the property to donee, gift hiba can be cancelled because it is not complete. So donor has right to revoke, right to cancel the hiba which he has created. But if property is transferred, in that case, only with the consent of donee, hiba, gift can be cancelled. So if donee is giving consent to give property back, then it can be cancelled. But if donee is not ready, in that case, donor has option to file suit and get the property back. So with the decree of court, the property can be taken or gift can be cancelled. So this is the method to revoke hiba. So before transferring the property and after transferring the property. There are certain gifts which are final, which cannot be revoked, which cannot be cancelled. For example, if donee is dead. So if donee is dead, of course, gift cannot be cancelled. If donee and donor are related to each other in prohibited relationship, for example, father and son, in that case, the gift is irrevocable, cannot be cancelled. If donor and donee, if they are in marital relationship, in that case also, husband and wife, the gift is final. If donee has transferred the property to some other person by sale or by gift, in that case also it is final, it cannot be revoked, it cannot be cancelled. If gift is destroyed, lost the identity, changed the identity, in that case it cannot be cancelled. If the subject of a gift has increased in value and now the value is inseparable, then also it is not revocable. And last is sadka. So sadka is the property were given in charity to God, and once it is created, it cannot be cancelled. So this was all about hiba, kinds of hiba, doctrine of Musha, formalities, revocation and irrevocable gifts. Thank you.